Okay, today we are going to talk about meiosis. This video here is a great before you take these notes sort of video, so I want you to pause right now. It'll make a lot more sense if you go watch this video real quick and come back and take the notes. An overview of meiosis. So we talked first about mitosis. Mitosis divides, the nucleus divides one time and you get two new cells. In meiosis, the nucleus is going to divide twice and you're going to get 4 new cells. The chromosome number in each of the beginning cells is 46, and the chromosome number in each of those 4 new cells is 23. So here's a picture of the process. This is a very overviewed picture. So you start out with one cell, it divides once into 2 cells, and it divides again, and you get 4 cells. And we'll talk about this. This is mitosis times 2, basically. So meiosis happens in sex cells. So in organisms that reproduce sexually, they have the process of meiosis to multiply, to double, to get new sex cells. In mitosis, it's for your body cells. So like every other cell in your body that grows and divides would undergo mitosis, but only the gametes would undergo meiosis. So before sexual reproduction can take place, each parent must produce sex cells. And those have half the genetic information that the body cells have. So once again, this is the number 23. Each of those sex cells have 23 chromosomes when the rest of the body cells have 46. In body cells, chromosomes are found in pairs of homologous chromosomes, which have the same structure and the same size. That's why they're called homologous, because the prefix HOMO means the same. So that would make sense that the chromosomes would be the same in size and structure. So one chromosome pair is made up of 6 chromosomes. So you would know them as X and Y's in humans, which determine if you're male or female biologically. Cells with homologous chromosomes are called diploid. They're called diploid cells. The importance of these cells is that normal human body cells contain 46 chromosomes, but the sex cells are also known as gametes, and they have half the number of chromosomes. So the importance here is that, well, they're haploid, meaning they have 1 chromosome from each homologous pair, and that's important because that's where we get our genetic recombination. So that's why you don't look exactly the same as one of your siblings. Okay, so here are the gametes. So the large circular thing here is the egg, and the small things on the egg are the sperm. And this is sexual reproduction. So one of those sperm will make it inside the egg and fertilize it first. And whatever genetic information is inside that sperm is what's going to recombine with whatever genetic information is in this very specific egg. So think about how you have the genetic information that you do right now. It's very, just think about how if one sperm made it faster than the one that made it, how different maybe you would look and be. Sex cells are needed so that in sexual reproduction, the offspring will have a total number of 46 chromosomes. So otherwise, they would have 23. But if you combine the X and the Y, so this would be, if you would have these chromosomes, you would be male biologically. This one contains 23, and this one contains, the egg would contain 23, and the sperm would contain 23, and together those would make 46, which would make you male or female, depending on which sperm, honestly, what chromosome they carried from the male. So really, it's not your mother who decides your gender, it's your father. If a sperm cell that's carrying the Y chromosome fertilizes the egg, that's an X and a Y, that would be biologically male. If a sperm cell is carrying the X chromosome and it fertilizes the egg, that's 2 X's, you would be biologically female. So when the human egg and the sperm join together, you have 23 chromosomes from the egg, 23 from the sperm, and there you get your full 46. So sex cells are made through meiosis, and it produces haploid cells such as the egg or the sperm. So when it doubles, it's making it quadruples in the end. It's making either sperm cells or egg cells, depending on your biological gender. When an egg is fertilized by a sperm cell, a new diploid cell forms. So one sperm was haploid, one egg was haploid. Together they become diploid. Meiosis has two parts. You go through meiosis 1 and you go through meiosis 2. So each of them has two parts, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. And here are the stages of meiosis. So remember, this whole thing is called a chromosome, and each one of these is a chromatid. So the blue part is one chromatid, and the yellow part is one chromatid, and there's a centromere in the center. The whole thing is called a chromosome. So before meiosis 1 begins, each chromosome is duplicated. Each half is called a chromatid. Chromatids are connected in the center by a centromere, and during meiosis 1, pairs of these homologous chromosomes and sex chromosomes split apart into two new cells. So here's prophase 1. There's a great picture. They come together. They're duplicated homologous chromosomes. They pair up. They come together. So the blue is with the blue, the green's with the green, orange with the orange, yellow with the yellow. They're the pairs of homologous chromosomes pair up. Remember, metaphase in mitosis, M for middle, those homologous chromosome pairs will line up in the middle of the cell. And in anaphase, the homologous chromosomes will separate from their partners. So if you look back here, you've got the blue and the green being partners, and the yellow and the orange being partners. So in anaphase, they are separated from those partners and pulled away in anaphase to the spindles at each pole. And then you have in cytokinesis, telophase 1 and cytokinesis, the new nuclear membrane is forming, divides into two new cells, and the chromatids are still joined. In meiosis 2, we see a change happen. Meiosis 2 involves both of the new cells that are formed in meiosis 1, and the new cells divide again during meiosis 2. So meiosis 2 will result in 4 haploid sex cells. So here's prophase 1. The nuclear membrane breaks apart, and you've got then those chromosomes lining up in the middle, metaphase 2. Chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell, so you can see those here. Remember, there's the partners have separated. In anaphase 2, the chromatids are pulled apart and moved to the opposite side. So this looks very much like mitosis, doesn't it? And then in telophase 2, in cytokinesis, you have new nuclear membranes being formed, and each cell is haploid. So now they each have one chromatid from the other half there. So if you put all those pieces together, you have those 4 full chromosomes. All right, so here's meiosis. In the first division, DNA replication and recombination happens. So you see how part of the red is on the blue and vice versa. And then in meiosis 2, you're taking each one of those and dividing them in two, and you get some recombination there as well. And you end up with 4 new cells that are haploid. The amoeba sisters, yes, they have done it again. Listen to their video comparing and contrasting meiosis and mitosis. I would pause here and go watch that video. It will help you, and take notes on that as well, because it will help you really understand how meiosis and mitosis are similar and how they're different. Maybe making a Venn diagram as you're going through that video would be really helpful. Okay, so if we're looking at meiosis versus mitosis, I'm going to keep the meiosis and mitosis, those colors, so that maybe that helps you. The color coding kind of reminds me of doodle notes that way. Only sex cells undergo meiosis. All the other cells divide via mitosis. Meiosis, you have chromosomes that are copied once and a nucleus that is divided twice. In mitosis, you have chromosomes copied once and a nucleus divided once. And remember, those are happening. Mitosis is happening in all of your other body cells. Meiosis only happens in the sex cells. Meiosis produces haploid cells, while mitosis produces diploid cells. Meiosis produces haploid cells, while mitosis produces diploid cells. Haploid, diploid. Okay. This is a great, I don't know, this is PBS again. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it to work, but it's a great website showing you how the body cells divide. If you want to take a break and go watch that real quick too, that would add to your learning. It really would help you understand this much better. All right, let's do a quick review. What kind of cells does meiosis form? Diploid, sex cells, sperm cells, egg cells. The answer is sex cells. Egg and sperm cells are sex cells, but the meiosis wouldn't just form sperm cells. That wouldn't make sense if you were biologically female. Chromosome duplication takes place between meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. Is that a yes or a no? No. Chromosome duplication does not take place between meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. A pair of homologous chromosomes contains genetic information from dad only, mom only, both mom and dad, or neither. Both mom and dad is our answer. Suppose a diploid animal has 16 chromosomes. How many chromosomes, would each sex cell have in this particular animal? A diploid animal has 16 chromosomes. Sex cells have half as many, so the answer would be 8. All right, this is a great picture, and this might be something that you come back to over and over because we are going to be making some flip books for meiosis and mitosis, and this picture right here would be awesome for you to use in that flip book for meiosis. So the end result of meiosis is 4 daughter cells that each have half the number of chromosomes as the original cell that it came from. And remember, meiosis happens only in sex cells, while mitosis happens in somatic cells, those are also known as body cells. You may watch this video if you would like, but this is the end of our notes for today. Please check on Google Classroom to see if there is any homework assignment to verify that you took your notes.